Yes. Okay. We were just doing a test to see what it would be like without any sound as a webinar. And I think 100% of everybody decided it would be a very bad idea. So here we are with sound. You can hear us. Yeah, you can hear us now? Ah, still no sound. Oh, no, we're back.
We're back.
Brooke says yes.
Yes.
So
we're back. Hi again.
Apologies
Hi.
for that.
Yes.
I don't know
Sorry
what
about
happened. Okay, so let's go from the top. We've had a practice now.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, welcome to our Masterclass 101 on how to create a course from scratch on OpenLearning.
My name is Nick.
My name's Nupur. We're learning designers here at OpenLearning. We're based in Sydney, Australia. We'd love to know where you're from, so leave us messages in the chat. Let us know who you are, what you do, where you're from. We'll just start how to create a course on the platform for everyone who's completely new to the platform or courses online. OpenLearning is a platform that is free to use. You can create beautiful, student-centric, great courses on OpenLearning. It's easy to do. We can tell you how to do it in 30 minutes. And
so this is for people who have never used the platform before. It's also for people who have had a little play around with the platform and might want some pro tips, perhaps. Start to make sure you get the basics right before you go on to do the more advanced, use some of the more advanced features. So, but the good thing about the platform here is that you can really get a lot of educational outcomes if you just set up a few things the right way. Make sure you're thinking about the kind of social learning experiences that your students are going to be having. You don't need to be a computer programmer to set up a course.
No, not at all. You just need to want to teach. That's about it. The platform really provides you with all the tools and features that you can need to create social collaborative learning experiences with your students where people actually enjoy learning rather than take online courses that they never complete. So
looks like we've got a lot of people joining us from all over Australia, Wangaratta, Melbourne, Perth, and then a few from overseas, Los Angeles,
KL,
a bunch of Malaysian
Hello.
friends. So yeah, apologies for the lack of sound in the first part. It looks like there was a little circle, red circle that we had to click to say that we actually wanted sound.
Yes, you'd think after 3 times we'd know how to do the stuff, but apparently we don't. That's great. Shall we get straight into it?
Let's get straight into it.
Okay. We wanted to start by actually showing you an example of what a great course on OpenLearning would look like. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch screens so you can see our screen and we'll show you a great course.
So this course, okay. So,
screen share.
There we go. Application window. Yep. Yep.
So that's
okay.
That. Does that work? It does work.
It does work. So this course is from a series that we actually produced here. A number of the learning designers at OpenLearning created these courses. They're free for you to use as a course designer, as an educator yourself. So it's called the Rethink Teaching and Learning series.
Yes.
And this is one of the courses in there called Instructional Design for Effective Learning. So there are a lot of ideas in here about that the platform is sort of based on, about social learning, constructivist, pedagogical ideas, if you're into that kind of educational thinking. But what we're going to do here is just quickly show you what a completed page on OpenLearning looks like before we go back to the beginning and start from scratch.
All right. For those of you who are new to this course, or to any course on OpenLearning for that matter, this is what a homepage of a course looks like. It's got several elements that you can see at one glance. There's a course banner right up top. There's a navigation menu on the left here. There's some edit layout buttons that are only visible to course admins or teachers. And here's the actual content, the meaty bit of that your students will first come across. It's the welcome message. It's also an icebreaker activity. The homepage is a great spot for an icebreaker activity that can get your students involved in interesting conversations, ask questions, have fun, and also feel like they aren't alone in the course, that they can meet other like-minded people, talk to them, and also to you, the course facilitator. Once you scroll down, you'll see a comment thread. Here's where you comment, and this is the actual thread. You'll notice every page on OpenLearning in your course will be followed by a comment thread, and that is one of the features we offer.
And that's a unique feature, as far as we know, as an educational platform, is to invite that level of student conversation and engagement within the content, essentially.
Yes.
We try to embed student contributions within teacher-created content so that the students have more engagement with the content, with each other, and that it's less of a textbook-like experience for them, which, as you can see on this particular page, students seem to really like. They get to discuss things, share ideas about themselves, really get out of that sort of box of read a page and then jump onto the next page.
Take a quiz at the end. Yes, that's right. And you can reply and like each other's comments and really start conversing at the very beginning.
So we would call it a social media workflow in the as an educational platform, but that certainly doesn't mean that the content of the subjects needs to be light in any way. We've hosted
engineering, postgraduate engineering courses with a lot of scope for collaboration, discussion, replying and liking and sharing. So it is definitely possible to combine heavier subjects with social media elements. All right, so now that you have an idea of what a course kind of looks like, what the look and feel is like, let's go straight into how to actually create a basic structure of a course and how to have all the settings in place.
We've been asked by someone in the live chat to show some magic, please. So if you can just jump to the magic part.
Magic bit, okay.
Which I believe is the beginning.
I thought we were, well, maybe we need to do, we need to cast a spell, we need to say some
the
magic
wizard.
words.
We need to go to the wizard.
We'll get to the wizard in just a bit. All right, to create a course in OpenLearning, once you actually land on the homepage.
This is after you have created a profile, so you need to join OpenLearning.
Yes,
first.
That's right. You would need to. I kind of assumed everybody was in OpenLearning. And
so if you're not yet an OpenLearning user, go on to openlearning.com now as you're watching this and just set up a profile. It's free. You don't need to do anything, but it means that you will have the ability to join a bunch of free courses, see what you could potentially do as a course creator, and then obviously go on and create your own course. So as Nupur is going to show us what you will want to do once you feel ready to begin to set up your own course here.
Once you've created your account on OpenLearning, Nick mentioned it's free. It takes 2 seconds. You could probably do that now or later. When you do get to the homepage, you've got a big button that says Teach, which you can click on to go to the teachers page. And then click on this big orange button that says Create a Course. The first step to actually creating a course would be to think of a course name and to write it here. It needs to be, I guess your course name would need to be brief, but catchy, relevant to your subject.
Yeah, absolutely. So you want a title that tells students what the course is about, maybe gives them an idea of what level, whether it's advanced, whether it's for a particular subgroup of people within a topic. So what we're going to do today is choose a particular topic that is travel photography. So we're going to create a demo course called Travel Photography for Beginners.
That's a great name. Travel Photography for Beginners. So that's basically a simple title.
Descriptive. Again, I think similar to last time, what we're missing is a bit of edginess in the name, a bit of salesmanship, but I think it sells itself.
But that's okay. Simple's good. I think worth noting is that while you can change your course title later within the course settings, your course URL cannot be changed. So that is a unique identifier for your course, and that stays the same no matter what your course title may be later. Once you've added in your course title, click on Create My Course, and now watch the magic happen. There's just a little bit.
One moment, please, while we're waiting for the magic. And here's the magic, the wizard.
Ta-da!
So,
course setup wizard.
So what's actually just happened? What's actually just happened is, as we've created the course, we have created a new web page. So a new page that now exists on the internet.
That's right.
Other people can't find it until you have officially put it online. You've set the course. You can see up in the top left corner it says it's offline. But so it's on the internet, but people can't access it until you decide to put it online. But yeah, we've just created a new URL that is live on the internet, and it's pretty cool. It's magic to me.
It is. Little magic pots working in the background to create your course. The first step of the course setup is actually going through the setup wizard, but we don't need to do that now because you've got Nick and myself today to take you through the basic steps. But if you were doing that by yourself, it's a great handy checklist for you to read. Clicking on each of these elements would actually take you to the how-to page, so you can see how to upload banners and thumbnails and background themes and everything. And once you're done, just keep clicking yes till you reach the bottom of the checklist. Let's actually follow the checklist and take a look at the course setup area. Just so you know, the course setup, administer students, assessment, certification, these tabs are only visible to you as the course creator and other course staff within your course. Your students can't view or access any of these settings. If you click on the course setup section, you'll see a bunch of different subsections, the first of which is outcomes.
But don't get overwhelmed by all those different sections. Basically, all that's doing is just giving you a step-by-step method to set up your course that makes a lot of sense. So it's good to do these from the top down.
Yeah.
So start with the first one, and as you go along it just takes you through the different sections.
Yes, that's right. The first thing to think about while creating your course would be the objective and the learning outcomes for your course. The course objective is essentially where you want your students to reach after they've done your course. For this one, I've thought of an objective. I haven't given it much thought because it's not a real course, but let's say travel photography, you'd want your students to apply different principles of photography to different location settings, and as a result, tell beautiful travel stories. That's my objective.
It's a good objective.
For outcomes, every time I click on add outcome, it'll give me a different outcome space and a space to add an outcome tag.
So outcomes are very important. Learning outcomes, if you've done any sort of teaching, you should know about outcomes. If not, it's a good idea to think really hard about what you want your course outcomes to be, because everything you do in your course design needs to or should link back to one of these outcomes.
Yes.
They should be specific, measurable,
Yes.
not
Attainable.
not too general, and and so an outcome wouldn't be take a wonderful photograph, because what is a wonderful photograph after all? So here we have our 3 outcomes. One is knowing your photo equipment, learn how to safeguard it while traveling. That's a good specific one. And number 2, take beautiful photographs in different light and environmental conditions. So we're getting a bit specific, talking about a range of different lighting conditions, not just take great photos, but we're getting a bit more specific. And the 3rd is being aware of cultural considerations while photographing people and places. So you can see we've really tried to hone in on the travel aspect of this course, because trying to be all things to all people, as we know, it doesn't get you anywhere. So don't feel bad about being specific. Everybody can find information about photography online, but if you're creating a course, make it nice and specific. Make sure it targets your particular students and gives them what they need.
Yes, that's absolutely right. And this doesn't apply to just photography courses. It applies to math courses, physics courses, engineering, medicine. Your outcomes need to be measurable, specific, and attainable. Once you're done adding your outcomes and outcome tags, just click on the orange Save button, and there, saved.
Great. So the outcome tags, there is a slightly more advanced reason for them to exist that we're not necessarily going to go all the way into today. It's to do with a way of assessing the work that your students do within your course. It's a good idea just to create these tags, and then if you're setting up a course, as you can see, it's just one word that's a short version of that outcome. And later on, it might come in really handy for you for doing your assessment. But at the moment, just create the tags and don't worry about it after that.
Once your objective and outcomes are set, they're well thought out, they're well laid out, let's go to the general course settings next. The general settings where you can, this is where you can edit your course name and your course thumbnail. This is what will show up on the OpenLearning page when your course is listed, when people will, if someone searches for a keyword that happens to be in your course title and your course comes up, this is the thumbnail that will show, and this is where you can just upload a different thumbnail to
Should we upload a different thumbnail? Unless someone's traveled to the library, I don't think that's very good.
Yeah, it's a simple thing to do. Here we go. Let's have a photography-related relevant
the map,
image.
and they got is that a camera in there as well?
There's a camera. There's a map. There are probably sunglasses.
Look at that. Is it a Polaroid camera? No. Nice.
I think it's a great image.
It's a good travel photography.
Yes,
got the map, got the camera. Okay, lock it in.
A cup of coffee. Once your course thumbnail is all set up, it's time to think about what you want to call your class and what settings do you want to, what do you want your class to be really. Clicking on Change Class lets you choose whether you want your course to be an open MOOC, which means anybody can join and take the course for free. If you want your course to have a fee associated with it, clicking on Requires Payment lets you select the currency and attach a fee to the course. This is where I let you know that while OpenLearning courses are free to create and teach, if you do charge your students a course fee, OpenLearning deducts 15% of that for admin purposes.
And that's it collects your payment as well through the platform. So
yes.
It's an all-in-one kind of solution there. So that's pretty reasonable.
I think it's pretty reasonable, and that's it. There's no other fees or charges associated with. Yes. If you wanted to set an activation code, you could do that here. If you wanted to make it an exclusive invite-only class, you can click on invite only, and so on and so forth. You can also decide when you want your course material to be available. So for instance, you're working on your course, you assume that you'll take about 4 weeks to set your course up, set all the content up, everything, and you want to make your course available next month or something. You could do that right here. You could set up the date and the
Or
time.
if you work for a particular institution and you know that a term or a semester is going to start on a particular day, you just set that up, and then, or if you like self-imposed deadlines, perhaps if you need a deadline to get your course finished, maybe that's a good idea.
Yes, that does work out for a lot of people.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do now is I'm going to make it online so that it's so we can share it with them, with our audience. That's it. That's your course. That's your class taken care of. The next bit to take care of would be your course landing page. Now, the landing page is what is basically your promotional page, which will contain all the information that your students would like to know before they enroll. So it needs to be, I suppose, sufficiently enticing for you for your students to want to sign up to your course, for them to want to take the course. It should ideally contain all the information that a student might need.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's in the course, how this is different from any other courses similar to it. So, for example, in this case, we're going to talk about the specific travel aspect of this course. The learning outcomes should certainly be in there, because not only does that give your students a good idea of what they can expect to be able to do after the course, but if you have learning outcomes in your course promo page, any students who are sort of switched on to the educational aspect will say, well, that's good that they've actually thought about what the outcomes are, not just, oh, we're going to talk about travel photography, but they've actually thinking about you as a student and saying, as a student, what are you going to get out of this? What are you going to be able to do at the end? So we always say it's a good idea to put your learning outcomes as often and available as possible.
And also upfront, it's good to know.
Yeah.
Along with the details like what is the time commitment required for this course, whether the course offers a certificate or any kind of anything that would be relevant to your students, and what prerequisites for the course might be, what they need before starting the course. Let's click on preview information page to actually look at what the course looks like. So basically, this is your landing page copy, information that you present to your students, the team, any more information you would like to add, and a big orange button right here which says join the course. All right, so that's that bit. Let's go to appearance next.
That sounds good. By the way, I'm just going to interject for a second and say that people asking questions in the chat, that's great. Pop them in there. We're going to have us answer all of the questions, if we can, at the end of the creating a course in 30 minutes. So keep them coming. Please don't feel like we're ignoring you, but it's just much easier to save them all up for one go at the end. But yeah, see if you can ask us some really hard ones that we don't know the answer to.
So you can watch us fumble around, look at each other awkwardly on camera. Yeah,
but definitely keep the questions coming.
Yes. All right. In the appearance section is where you get to decide and kind of set up the look and feel of your course, including the course banner.
It's the fun part.
Yes, it is. The course banner is actually, you can read what the recommended size of the course banner might be by hovering on this little information icon. Let me just upload a banner so you see what it may look like.
Now, Nupur created this banner before and she's really proud of it.
Well, see, I'm not good with graphic design.
Oh, it's not bad.
It's all right, I suppose.
It's a travel photography
of a travel icon.
Photographer.
It's got a camera icon in case the title wasn't clear enough.
It's not bad. And so we always recommend, there's a program called Canva, or it's an online graphic design sort of online program. You don't need to buy it, it's free.
It's free to yes.
We certainly we use it ourselves. So it's Canva, canva.com. Really handy if you've got any sort of ability to do graphic design-y stuff. You can turn images into banners
Yes.
with text or that kind of thing.
Yes. Canva didn't pay us to say any of this.
No,
we just love
hopefully
the program.
they will someday, one day.
Okay. So your course banner, and you can decide whether or not to show your course name on the banner. Since I already added the title in the actual design, I'm going to uncheck this button. Your background color, background image, theme color can be edited. I'm just going to stick to a nice
go with the
silver.
dark green, like the canopy of the forest in the photo.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Dark green's good.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Course navigation is the next section that you can take a look at. This is actually the tabs that you see on the left. This doesn't include the setup and students certification tabs. Only the tabs that are visible to your students. It's you can rename, shuffle them and stuff based on however you want the course to be. It's quite customizable and flexible.
Now, there are lots of different sort of sections you can have up here, but we're going to just talk about one of them, or the learning activities section today, because that's pretty much where all of the course lives. That and the homepage. So all of those other things you see there, groups, gallery, announcements, student area, all of that kind of stuff, we're just going to leave today, because that's not that's a little bit more advanced. But we recommend that once you've created your own course, go and check out, just click on groups, play around with it, see if you can work it out. But we will almost certainly to be doing a webinar in the next few webinars on how to deal with groups, how to make that work really well for students. In fact, we have a newly rolled out groups sort of feature that works really amazingly, and there's already some really good things happening there. So that's worth just having a click on it and check it out. But for today, we're going to look at the Learning Activities tab. So let's look at the content page.
Let's look at the content page. Content page is where all the stuff that you set up goes into the Learning Activities tab on the left. But before that, this is a really handy little pop-up that just popped up. It kind of gives you an overview of content creation on the platform. So as you can see, your course umbrella consists of different sections, which we call modules. You can think of them as broader topics, or as if chapters in a book, which contain different pages. Each page can contain a lot of different kinds of things, and we recommend having different sort of learning activities combined with different media and wikis within a page to have a holistic kind of
yeah, we like to talk about pages as being a sort of experience that students go through. So a page isn't necessarily just a block of text or a video. It could be any number of those sort of just content sort of blocks, but within them and around them, student-centered activities should be sort of distributed, and that's the way the platform works really well, which we're about to show you, which is not having the content and the learning separated, but to integrate it. So you've got your whole course, you divide it up between modules. This can be done as a sequence. So module 1, introduction to something, module 2, the second part, or you can do it in a non-sequential way. So you can just say, go to whichever module sounds most interesting first, and then start there, and then do, choose your own adventure style. So we're always looking for people to try to use the platform in a more open-ended kind of style. So feel free to try that out.
Yes, and always let us know how that went. I just skipped that guide because we'll probably just show you how to do that here. But if you are creating, feel free to actually let that a little pop-up guide you on creating modules and pages. Let's have the first module for this course.
Okay.
The first outcome I remember was about photography equipment. So my first module can be about that. I just pressed enter on the thing, and my first module is ready. It's blank right now. I have to start adding pages. Love your equipment.
So you can either have planned out your entire course in advance. So you might say, I want 3, 4, 10 modules, up to you. And in each module, there will be a certain number of pages, or you can sort of design it as you go, as we're doing here. Ideally, it's good to go in with a plan. So your modules are modules for a pretty good reason. But a really great thing is that you can have set up a bunch of pages, and then you can say, oh, actually, I'd like to put a page in there in between those 2 other ones. You can do that. You can rearrange everything later on. So what you're doing here is not the final thing. You can just play around with things, and if you like something later on, then leave it. If you want to get rid of it or put something else in, then you can always do that.
Also interesting that you brought up the course design plan bit, because that's a really exciting thing we'll be sharing with you at the end of this webinar. We've actually created a course design plan template that we use in-house to create our courses, and it'd be great if you could you'll get that in an email. You can download it and try and use that to plan for your courses beforehand, because planning is a good thing to do.
Certainly is.
Yeah. So my first page is ready. If I click on view page, I can actually go to the page.
Oh, we can see the banner up there. That's nice.
Yeah. Hey, it doesn't look bad, huh? Clicking on edit on top of the page gives me this view. Now, this is different. This changes what your left-hand panel looks like. This is actually a bunch of what we call widgets in OpenLearning speak. Widgets are basically elements or building blocks of each page.
Of a page. So every page is made up of at least one widget. You can use as many as you like. The text widget is the most basic one, which is what we're looking at here.
Displayed here, yes.
But lots of different widgets do lots of different things. You might have seen a previous webinar where we went into some of the more interactive widgets and what you can do with them. So some widgets ask students to post and share things. Some widgets give students the opportunity to discuss things with each other. The text widget functions essentially like a Word document or a Google Docs. As you can see, you'll be familiar with all of the little icons along the top of the text widget here. Essentially, you can treat it just as you would a Word document with a few little extras. Let's have a look.
Yes. We provide you all the basic formatting options that you might need in a word processor, including bold, italics, underlining, adding media, including hyperlinks, videos, alignment options, and text formatting options. Let me just go ahead and actually make this a big heading. And what I want to do next is to show you how to upload an image. Shall we go with
the page is about loving your equipment. Oh, we've already got that, don't we?
That's true.
No. Yeah, this
one? Yeah, that's
that'll do.
Equipment. Okay.
Right. So
I'm going to click on styles to align my photograph on the right.
And if you want to know what all those other options do, they're essentially just aesthetic things like, do you want your photo to be circular? Do you want it to have a border? Do you want it to have a shadow? So you can choose a style that you like and go for that. We're not going to go through them all right now, but one tip we will give is to choose one style the way you do everything in your course, such as headings, photos, styles, do you have a border on your photos, etc. Choose something and stick with it throughout the entire course, because that's one. You have so many options in terms of the way you want things to look and feel that often people can get a little bit carried away with it. It's fun to test out, but if you're a student trying to make your way through a course, it's you want everything to be understandable. So you want all the main page headings to be, for example, header 1, and here we've gone for a plain image with no border, so we're going to stick with that throughout the entire course.
Yes, that's right.
That's my
Consistency, consistency is good in all material that you present to your students. So what I'm going to do once my widget is ready is click on Finish Editing so that it gets saved.
So now it's going to pop up on this page. It's just saving. I think that image was
it must have been a heavy-sized image.
Quite large.
Yes. While it's loading, though, what I can do is actually open up the Learning Activities tab and show you what a module set looks like. It's collapsible this way. Let me actually add a page thumbnail here so that it had the same photograph. Wait.
Yeah.
That was quick. I didn't expect it to be so quick, but here we go.
Okay, so you can see if when we click on the Learning Activities tab on the left with that little arrow indicating that there's multiple things in there.
Yes.
We created one module before on the content page. We called that module Your Photography Equipment, and so that's where your title will pop up there. And then we've got one page so far, which is Love Your Equipment, and we've now got that on the one existing page in this module. If we created other pages in the module, which maybe we can do in a second, they'll pop up in that white space next to this one.
Yes. We could do that in just a bit. Before that, I just wanted to maybe show our audience a little bit of the other widgets. For instance, the video widget, which is a great one.
It is a nice one.
The video widgets is simple. You just click to edit and add a video URL right here.
Right. So you've taken that widget on the left, which says on the left there, the green square for the video widget. You take it and you drag it and drop it. You can either click on it and it will land, it'll create itself on the bottom of your page currently. Yes. So now we've only got the one text widget. So if we click on the video widget, it'll create a video widget beneath the text widget. So now we have two widgets. You can just imagine them sort of sitting on top of each other. So, but if you want to, you can drag widgets in between other widgets. So you can rearrange it. You can take the widgets from the left, drag them in to your page where you want them to go. But just think of them as little blocks sitting on top of each other.
So for instance, if I wanted to share a file between the text and the video widgets, what I can do is just drag the file here. It says insert after this block. And here we go, the file widgets in the middle. I don't need the file widget for now, so I'm just gonna.
And what you can also do is talk about what you want people to do with other widgets within the widgets above. So for example, we've got this text widget at the top, and then we can say, after watching the following video, tell us about your equipment below. Okay. We know how much people love talking about which cameras they have, all that kind of thing. So this is a way we'll get students kind of talking to each other and discussing things. It might not be hugely educational, but we're going to use this as a bit of an icebreaker, as it is the first page in the first module.
Yes.
Is that right?
That's right.
So now you can see, I mean, this is largely empty because we didn't put anything in there. But you can see that the video widget you can just see nice big video. You can play that.
Yes.
Or we can just play it there. Okay. DSLR traveler.
Awesome.
Etc. Now we're asking students to discuss their cameras. So they're going to do that, and their other equipment. They're going to do that in the comments section at the bottom of the page. So are you thinking we should just do that?
Yes, let's.
So what we're going to do is share the course URL with you, and you can go as a listener and watcher of this webinar and jump in on this page and just tell us about your photography equipment.
That's right. People love talking about that. As you said, tell us all about the lenses you own and the tripods and the, I don't even know, what other.
So we've put it online.
Yes, that's /courses/ travel-photography. Photography-for-beginners. All right. Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead in the course setup content area and show you what another page might look like.
Okay, so if you have a look in the chat, I've just, okay, apparently I can't put a web address in the chat. I didn't know that. Okay.
That's tricky. Just a little bit of a glitch.
Okay, so what everyone can do is just type in openlearning.com. Okay, sorry. We're going to get someone else to post the link for you. So just ignore that other one. Okay, if anybody has a blurry screen, that's the resolution that you're downloading, streaming the video at. So click on your little cog thing in the settings on YouTube, and then there'll be a thing that says quality. Click on quality, and then go up to the one where it says 720p HD, and that will improve the quality for you. You can see we have also just posted the link to the course. So click on that, join the course, and then you'll be able to see the page that we just created.
Yes.
Jump in the comments and test out how it works.
Yes. Let's actually now go to the home page of the course. A handy trick to know is that there are two ways to get to the home page. There's the obvious home button right here, but clicking on the banner actually takes you to the home page of the course. Yes.
Very nifty.
It's a sneaky little thing. Now the homepage, like we showed you at the beginning of this webinar in another course, is where your students land in as soon as they click join the course. This is the first thing they see. There's a bunch of default placeholder text that our team has put in all fresh courses. This is where you can read some how-to pages, add in your text, or get rid of all this altogether and just add your new widgets with new text. It's easy to get rid of widgets. Just click on the remove button right here. Though I suppose it's quite handy to have information about getting around for new students, basic course information, and a welcome message. You essentially want your homepage to be welcoming, warm, relevant,
informative as well.
Informative.
You need to give students a good reason to check out the homepage. It's definitely a good idea. We also like to create icebreaker activities on the homepage.
Yes.
So we've done a sort of icebreaker activity on the first page in the first module. We could create another one here, but we probably won't at this moment. Just because we need to stick to our 30-minute schedule. But we could have done that activity we did on the previous page, on the home page. It doesn't really matter.
But that's fine. So that's how flexible creating courses is. But we do recommend having an icebreaker activity on the homepage, and your students can start talking to each other in the comments section, introducing themselves, and so
let's
forth.
go back and have a look, see if everyone. Oh, we have one.
Oh, hello, Brooke. You have an iPhone 7 for taking photographs.
I've actually got an iPhone 8. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Voila.
So yeah, feel free to jump in on this page, take a look at the page we just created. And so while we haven't exactly created a course in 30 minutes, we've created the framework that would flesh out into a course. So it is this is the setup process. You've seen how to create a page. You've seen how to add widgets to your pages. You've seen how to create modules. Essentially, you just do that over and over until your course builds out into something that's really engaging. You get your students interacting. Watch one of the other webinars we did on getting people engaged using widgets. Oh, there we go. We've got a GoPro, Samsung Note 3. But
I'm gonna just go ahead and like all these comments because that's awesome. I just use my GoPro. Very cool.
Why not? But as you can see, a module is made up of multiple pages. So in that page creation, just do that multiple times depending on the experiences that you want your students to have on those pages. Pages can, of course, be very long if you want them to be. We just put 2 little widgets on there. They could be 10, 15, 20 widgets long,
that's true.
if you like.
But it'd be good to be mindful of cognitive loads when it comes to learning with your students and not be too overwhelming on one page. It's good to have it's good to cover a subtopic and then follow up with a fun activity that would kind of engage your students on a deeper application-based level, or even have a reflective activity where they can reflect and think about what they've learned and how that applies to their day-to-day life. That's the kind of thing you can do on each page if you want it.
That's for sure. So while there are many other things, as we said, the group work, the assessment, all the kinds of things to get into. In terms of a 101, just what you need to know to start creating your own course, that's it. You can now jump on OpenLearning, begin to create your own course. Hopefully you'll engage a little bit more with our other webinars, with some of our blogs, with each other, in talking about not just the technical how-to, but why would we do something in a certain way? Okay, so what benefit does it have for everybody in a photography course to be telling each other what kind of camera they use on the first page? We think about this kind of thing all the time. It's what we do. And so what we want to do is gather together a group of people who form a community around these ideas, not just the little technical, what does this button do, but how does a good course work? Why a good course is good? And we've actually just recently created a new place where you can gather together and discuss these things, discuss those ideas. You might not have any other place that you can talk about your educational ideas. So what we've done is created what we call the OpenLearning Hub on YouTube. You'll be able to, on Facebook.
On Facebook, yes.
We're streaming
it's a Facebook page called OpenLearning Hub, and the link to that Facebook page is in the YouTube video description. So go ahead and join that space. It's a space where OpenLearning's in-house learning designers and the rest of the teacher community, it's the place to be.
So we've actually jumped on there ourselves so far. This is a new thing, because we always have these discussions about how to build good courses. Why would you do something in a certain way? How can I do this really difficult thing easily? How can I make something that I used to do with 10 students scale up to 1,000 students? All these kinds of questions that we're now dealing with the sort of, the second or third coming of the online teaching revolution that we're sort of living through. There are big questions that everybody needs to be asking, and not everybody has the answer all the time. So we've created this group. You don't need to the topic doesn't just need to be OpenLearning or the platform. In fact,
everything to do with teaching online, really. And if you have experiences in mind, if you think, oh, that's the kind of student experience that I want my students to have, that is the place where you go and ask others how to actually realize that wish of yours, how to actually do that with other
or maybe
creators.
If you find a great example of a course either on OpenLearning or somewhere else, then jump on there. And as we know, in those kinds of communities, once everybody starts giving, then everybody gets a lot out of it. So we're really trying to turn that into a great place that people can go to, a place that doesn't currently exist. So hopefully you get on board as a webinar viewer now. You'll be probably one of the first people, because that's a very recent creation.
So a Facebook group, so click on the link in the YouTube description and join the group. Nick and I and other learning designers at OpenLearning will also be sharing a lot of resources,
and you can
examples.
chat to us on there about anything. So do that.
All right, shall we take a look at some of the questions that have come through?
So we've got a few questions, not too many, but I think that's probably because we were so clear and succinct.
Thorough.
Yeah, so there's just nothing to ask. Okay, first question from Shazamore, I think. The platform, the basis of the work pages, ?
Is that meant to know?
Maybe that's to do with the hierarchy where we had the course, the modules, and the pages. So if this viewer is still watching, you could just I don't know, if someone wants to clear up that question, then that would be good.
Yes,
afraid I'm not too sure.
Shahazamor, could you please clarify what did you want to know? How the pages structure works, the basis of how the platform works, and we'll try to answer that. Okay,
second question from Faye Patel. So can you use any resources off the web? YouTube links, what about copyright issues?
Great question. With YouTube links, because they're a direct link to the YouTubers or the artist's actual video, that's fine. But if you're using files, images off the internet that belong to someone else, those are not copyright free or in the free public domain. It is definitely a good idea to add a reference. At the bottom, at the top, or at the end of the page, you could have a reference list, just like you would in any textbook or any published material. If you're using somebody else's work, you definitely do that. But it is possible to use. It's possible to embed external websites, YouTube links, articles off the internet, and it's great to supplement your topic with different resources that students can dig deeper.
But also in terms of the copyright, if you're doing something on a larger scale, it depends where you are as well. So you might need to look at education licenses for some material. Also look for, if you're looking for images, etc., look for Creative Commons licensed images, which you just need to give a credit. They're not protected. So we're not going to say yes, you can use anything, because it becomes a bit of a confusing situation, but you can use a lot of things. It's really useful.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Julian Watt, what percentage of courses charge fees? What are the most successful and least successful categories? So,
well, we actually have a few courses that charge fees, and they're quite successful. But we also have a large number of MOOCs that are open, free, public to everyone, and those have been really successful as well. Success is a different metric for different people. It's not always monetizing, but it's also we have a bunch of public MOOCs that have been so successful that they've won awards and stuff. So, and category-wise, it really depends on your audience and how you reach your audience. You could have a really niche course on, I believe we've got a course on ribbon embroidery on OpenLearning, and that's pretty successful.
Yeah, so it's about finding a good niche.
Yes, and reaching that.
Yeah, like
audience.
most things in the digital era, is trying to create things for too large a group is just not going to work, because there are places for everybody. Everybody can find stuff that's exactly relevant to them currently. So if you're an expert in something, if you know about something, then get niche and maybe create 5 different courses that are different niches. So in photography, you could just say photography 101. That might be a bit boring. You might say wildlife photography, sport photography, travel photography, food photography, you know, like iPhone photography. So divide it up, get specific, because the more specific you are, the better you'll be for students, essentially.
Yes.
Okay. Cloud36 asks, if I want to build a course, but there is already a similar course offered, is it appropriate to create one, or should I propose collaboration?
Collaboration is a great idea, although we have a lot of courses that may overlap when it comes to topic, but that doesn't mean that you can't have your own. It's a free platform, and you can host, anyone can host their course, which means at this particular point in time, there might be 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 different photography related courses on OpenLearning, but that doesn't mean people can't have another.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Course.
I wouldn't mind too much
market.
if there was already an existing course in something
and
that I
for
wanted
students,
to.
it's great to be able to choose from a bunch of similar offerings, and it's up to you, of course, to provide the best sort of experience for them, so that students want to join your own.
But certainly, if you have an idea would build on something that someone else has already done, just get in touch with them, send them a message through OpenLearning and say, I did your course in blah and I think it's great, and can I help you do another one? Or who knows, you could find a new long-time collaborator.
Yes.
Okay, another one from Cloud36. Who issues certification for independent creator? If the creator, should the creator have a qualification to issue on?
In case of independent courses that are not accredited by a particular organization or institution, you can offer a completion certificate in a course, which a lot of courses do. It's basically a course. It's basically a certificate that automatically goes out to your student base once they complete, when they get like 100% progress in the course. That's easy to set up in the certification tab in the left panel of your course, and that doesn't need any formal accreditation.
Yeah, but if you do want to be, like, accreditation is something that's very different from our certificate mechanism. So we certainly do have accredited courses on OpenLearning from many universities throughout the world. So it is possible and it can be done, but the certification that we have is just a nice little acknowledgement that people have completed your course.
Yes, it's good to get a little certificate when you complete something.
Okay.
Yes.
It looks like Brooks answered a few of the questions in the let's do one final one that Brooke, it looks like she answered in the chat. Okay. But is it acceptable if I use your platform to develop some company in-house internal courses only for employees?
Yes, absolutely. A lot of companies around the world use OpenLearning for internal training purposes. For that, if you remember where you set up the classes in your course, you could go in and fix that up to be an invite-only class that you invite students into, or set up an activation code and share that with your company's employees. So it's not open to everybody on the platform, so people can't, not anybody can join, only people you invite into the course, and it can have any certificate or.
But considering, I'm not sure which company you work for, but considering how much people usually love, or maybe don't love so much, online training for their companies and work, then I'm sure if you're the person who organizes that within your work, then you're going to be a very popular person if you create something really fun and engaging on this platform, rather than a lot of the offerings that are currently out there. So you're exactly the kind of person who,
if you're a company employee and
get a whole lot out
done a company compliance
Yeah.
course, you know that
Not
it's
much
not
fun.
It's not fun.
All right. Well,
All right.
we're 3 minutes early. Thank you for joining us once
Thank you
again
so
for
much.
Open Learning 101, how to create a course in 30 minutes.
Yes.
We hope you've got something out of it. Don't forget to join our Open Learning
group.
Hub Facebook group. Jump in there, get talking. There'll certainly be people on there throughout this week and every week, but get in there and be one of the founding members of that group. That would be really wonderful.
Yes, and just as a reminder, we'll be sharing a course design plan at the end of this webinar with everybody who joined and watched us. And it'll really help you to plan in advance for your course. You can set up your course layout, your content. You can add resources that you want in there, and so that when you actually start building your course, you've got the framework in place, and that's more than half of the job done. Thank you so much for joining us, and
see you on the first Tuesday in November.
Yes, that's actually 2nd November.
5 o'clock. And we'll send out some invites to you once again. So keep the conversation going in our Facebook group. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.